The mystery of Chris Houlihan. This has been a topic in the gaming community for decades. Stories and rumors have graced message boards across the internet as many gamers have often wondered, where is he today? For those who don't know, Chris Houlihan is believed to have been a kid who was lucky enough to get his name put in one of the greatest Zelda games ever made. But not just his name, an entire room dedicated to him. Let's start from the very beginning. In Nintendo Power, issue 16, September-October of 1990, a challenge appeared on page 13. The Warmech Challenge. Warmech is a rare boss in Final Fantasy for NES, and I've read that the chances of him appearing in your playthrough are like 1 in 64. The contest reads, your name in a game. Have you ever imagined yourself in an NES game? Well, this is your chance. If you meet Warmech, snap a photo of him and send it to the address below by October 15th, 1990. One winner will be randomly selected and his or her name will be programmed into a future Nintendo game. A little further down it says the drawing date will be on or about November 1st. The lore of this story has us believe that Chris Houlihan won the Warmech Challenge. Now, if we continue to follow this story, he didn't get put into an NES game. He got put into an SNES game, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Sure, if you're Chris, this is a bragging moment. Not just any Nintendo game, but one of their biggest franchises? The only issue here is, to enter the room, you have to glitch your way inside of it. You can't find it on a normal playthrough of this classic. To get in, you have to confuse the game. You have to make the game think that Link is somewhere that he isn't, and it'll drop you in. When you fall into the room, it contains 45 blue rupees and a tile message on the wall that reads, my name is Chris Houlihan, and this is my top secret room. Keep it between us, okay? If this really was what Chris was given as a reward for the Warmech Challenge, did he even know about it since it was so hidden? That really sucks if Nintendo didn't let him in on it. It is rumored that the room was supposed to be a part of the main game, but got turned into a debug room, but who knows? I've read from 2 different sources that he is in fact named the winner of the Warmech Challenge 2 issues later in Nintendo Power issue 18. So I read that magazine, from the front page to the back page, and that's false. I know that many believe the winner of that contest was never named, so people just assumed a random name in a Nintendo game had to be to that challenge. Well, in Nintendo Power issue 105, we have confirmation. An article titled Juan, Dinosaur Hunter reads, in 1992, Nintendo Power contest winner Chris Houlihan secured his place in gaming history by having his name featured in a hidden area in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Further down it reads, until then, Chris Houlihan's days of having the coolest Nintendo game cameo will be numbered. I mean, good for Juan getting his face in Turok 2, but Turok 2 isn't A Link to the Past, and we're still talking about the Houlihan room 35 years later. This changed my mind completely. I was starting to believe Chris was a random name Nintendo used in a debug room, but this confirms it. Confirms it 8 years later. But no, proof dates back to 1994. In Mexico, they had Club Nintendo magazine, and in the 12th issue on page 4, someone wrote in about the Chris Houlihan room and how they found it once, but could never find it again. After translating, I see that it says, I was playing Zelda 3, and as I was already advancing in the game, I lifted the bush to use to enter the castle at the beginning of the game and went into the hole. To my surprise, I didn't fall into the room where your uncle gives you the sword and shield, but into a completely different room with blue rupees. There was a stone tablet on a wall. I went closer and I read it, and it said something like this: "Hi, my name is Chris something or other. This is my top secret room. Can you help me solve the mystery of this mysterious room in the mysterious Zelda 3 cartridge? I assure you this isn't a lie or anything like that. It's just the story of a kid who's going completely crazy over this question." They responded with, "What this room was about, we spent a lot of time and we just couldn't find the secret room. We thought it could have been a bug, but when we received another letter mentioning this room elsewhere and we couldn't find it either, we decided to go directly to the person who made the game. So we asked our friends at Nintendo and they informed us that this is a room that appears completely at random, and there are cartridges in which it will never appear. Chris Houlihan is the name of the kid who won a Nintendo Power contest, and with it also won the right to have his name programmed into the Zelda game. Oddly enough, in the Game Boy Advance version of A Link to the Past, Nintendo removed his name from the wall tile. The exact room is there, but now it's titled as a top secret room. His name has returned in the SNES Mini and the Switch versions, though. Many believe that Chris is out there today with zero proof. Many believe Chris has since passed away, which in a way makes this room kinda creepy to explore today. But me personally, I think this is all the proof that we need to know that Chris really did win the Warmech Challenge. Kinda crazy though that nobody that worked on that game has ever said a word about the room publicly. With how difficult it was to encounter Warmech in Final Fantasy with such a short timeline to get the picture and send it in, I was almost certain nobody won that challenge, and that's why nobody was ever named in the issues that followed. We don't know where Chris is today, but he is forever etched into gaming history, and he's a legend of his own in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In past issues of Nintendo Power, gamers were featured for winning such competitions, just like Juan was. Chris has been acknowledged, but never seen. If you have A Link to the Past, I think you should pay the Chris Houlihan room a visit. 35 years later, and it's still one of gaming's greatest mysteries. Where in the world is Mr. Houlihan?